John Ulzheimer is known as one of our nation's most recognized credit experts. Having worked for 28 years in the credit industry, John has become one of the most prolific speakers about credit and the go-to authority on answers to credit-related questions. Credit Countdown with John Ulzheimer.
Hello, this is John Ulzheimer. I am a consumer credit expert. I have spent almost 30 years in the credit industry. I've spent time at FICO, which is the company that designs and develops the FICO credit scoring systems, and Equifax, which is one of the 3 generally recognized credit reporting agencies in the United States. And so today I'm going to discuss building or rebuilding your credit score. So specifically, we're going to address how long does it take to do either of those things. How long does it take to rebuild a credit score? How long does it take to build a credit score? What this question is really asking is how long does it take to build or rebuild your credit report? And the reason I make that distinction, first off, credit reports and credit scores are not the same thing. They're often used interchangeably as if they are the same thing, but they're definitely not the same thing. One's a number and one's not, to put it in its simplest terms. And because your credit score is entirely dependent on the information that appears on your credit reports, then really to build a credit score, you're actually building a credit report, because that's essentially the foundation for all things credit scoring. You only have, and I say this until I'm blue in the face, and I feel like sometimes people just don't listen to me. You only have one opportunity to build a credit report from scratch, once, period. And if you do it right, then you're off to a fantastic start. If you do it wrong, the penalty for getting it wrong in the world of consumer credit is 7 years, because that's usually how long negative information remains on a credit report. So it's really, really important to get this right straight out of the gate, and I can't overemphasize that. So normally people will build credit by, usually with some help from their parents, frankly. It's unusual that you'll see someone who's just kind of cast out into the world of credit and, it has to depend on themselves, essentially. I mean, certainly that happens, but a smarter way of doing it is to see if your parents can help you out. And one of the ways to do it is becoming an authorized user on one of their credit cards, which we've discussed many times in these videos. You can be added as a co-signer on a loan. Your parents can co-sign on a loan for you. That happens a lot with federally guaranteed student loans. I think the overwhelming majority of federal student loans have a co-signer. So there's a lot of ways to build credit from scratch. Some people do it with retail store credit cards. Some people do it with secured credit cards. Tons and tons of options. There's really not a bad option, as long as you ensure that the information that hits your reports is positive, right? I mean, you don't want to build a credit report with a bunch of junk. So as long as the accounts are paid on time, they have low balances relative to the limits in the credit card sense, and they don't ever go into default, then you've essentially built a credit report from scratch, and that credit report, which says good things about your credit management, is going to yield a good credit score. So you've essentially killed 2 birds with one stone. You've built a credit report, you've also built a credit score. So now let's talk about the rebuilding. Rebuilding it occurs when you've screwed up and your credit is so bad that your credit reports are just polluted with negative information. Either you don't pay your bills on time, or you've gone into default because of you lost a job or medical emergency. Whatever the case may be, which is unfortunately the backstory is not ever on your credit report. You can never look at someone's credit report and infer why they missed payments and why they've gone into default. There's no backstory. So all you see is the fact that they have done it, which respectfully is really, that's the important part, is that it actually happened, not necessarily why it happened. Lenders don't care about the why, they just care about the fact that it happened. And the same thing with credit scoring systems. Credit scoring systems don't care why there's negative information on your credit reports. They just care that there is negative information on your credit reports. And so to rebuild a credit score, you have to really find out what's wrong with it in the first place. There's a lot of paths to lower scores, and therefore there are a lot of paths to improving your score. It could be because of negative information. It could be because of excessive debt. It could be a combination of a variety of things: debt, too many inquiries, late payments. And so to the extent that you understand why your scores are lower, it's going to give you a roadmap to what you can do to improve your scores. If you have tons of late payments all over your credit reports, don't focus on getting inquiries deleted. That's a waste of time. Focus on making your payments on time. So it's actually much simpler than you may think, because the answer to the question of how to improve a score is also answered with why is my score lower in the first place, because they're directly correlated. So hopefully that helps give you some guidance on how to build and rebuild a credit score by rebuilding and building a credit report. If you have any other questions about this, and I suspect that you will, I would love to hear them. Drop them in the comment section below, and we'll talk again soon. Have a great rest of your day.
For more videos and credit tips from John Ulzheimer, go to www.tradelinesupply.com.